This movie recaps is about the story of Jake, who is a resident of the planet Pandora. He is very happy with his family, including his wife and children. He says that in addition to my own children, I have adopted 2 children. One of them is the daughter of my old companion, who was killed after she gave birth to her. And there is another child that belongs to the people, because a few years ago humans came to live on this planet, where I now live, but when they returned to Earth, this child stayed here, has been with me ever since. All these children play together a lot and take good care of each other. Jake teaches all his children everything like shooting arrows, catching fish, and much more. All are great and small, happy, but one night, Jake and his wife see a white star shining in the sky. So as they get closer, they discover that this is a human spaceship, which again comes to live in their beautiful world. Due to the fire coming from the human spaceship, a fire starts in the jungle, killing a lot of animals and causing a lot of damage. The people who were sitting inside the big robots come out of it, and they also had very large cars that crush everything in their path. While Jake and his wife have no choice but to cry after seeing this devastation. I don't know when people become people. Anyway, now we are shown a lab where a blue-colored man who looked exactly like Jake and his family. He gets out of control and starts killing people around him. While controlling him, he is told that you are our colonel and you are human. After your death, we gave you such a body with the help of modern technology, through which you will be able to live on this planet. You will look like the inhabitants of this planet, so don't worry. Similarly, many people get such a body, which we can see in the people standing around the colonel. On the other hand, Jake and his companions destroy their train to stop the people, into which their weapons and food were directed. These people were on the flying creatures themselves, and after destroying people's helicopters, they loot their belongings. When the colonel learns of this impending loss, he plans to kill Jake, because Jake is the leader of the castaways. Basically, Jake and people who look like him are called castaways. These are all the people who live in the jungle, and they were the ones who attacked the train. But the colonel's senior officer tells him that whenever we send our ships into Jake's jungle, their flying creatures always destroyed them. You are our hope, you can do something. So the colonel walks with some of his companions in the jungle where Jake's children were playing. He sees people coming towards him and tells his father, but at the same time he catches the person. In a moment, Jake's wife gets there and shoots an arrow into the man's head. A fight begins between the two. Jake's wife saves her other children, but the colonel picks up his son and takes him with him, who is a child of human form whom he also adopted. Jake's wife was worried about her child that Jake says we will have to leave this jungle. I'm the leader here and the colonel is behind me. Because when the first people came here, I was the one who killed the colonel. Now, since he came back alive in Neelages or Abater, he wants to kill me. If you and I and our whole family get out of here, we can save the lives of the rest of our tribe. Because our captive child will soon tell us where we are, where we live, and people will get here. Jake's wife doesn't want to go, but eventually agrees. On the other side, people are torturing Jake's child and asking for his home address, but he is brave and says nothing. Sometimes a colonel comes and stops him and says he is human, so we will talk to him like people. She gives him a friendly hand and says I am your real father. And the last time I came into the world, I left you here on purpose, because I didn't want to take you with me. But now I have a feeling and I'll take you back with me. The innocent child agrees that fine, I will show you the place. On the other hand, Jake and his family leave their tribe, get on their flying creatures and go far away. That at least they will get a new home somewhere and can live there. These people get to the boats living near the water. The people living here are from this planet, but they look green. These watercraft make fun of them at first, as they say their tail is thin, their arms are thin and many more. Sometimes the leader of the water people comes and says you are a jungle dweller. You don't need water here. You don't know how to survive in water. But Jake replies that we will know everything very soon. And I need you guys for my family, so that they can live here safely. See, the leader of the watership agrees and also allows them to live. The next day, Jake's children are led by the children who live there. While there, Jake's son fuses his hair with the being, so it swims fast in the water. This makes him fall down and all the people there start laughing. The next day, some kids call Jake's daughter crazy. Moreover, they also treat him badly. They bother him a lot. Then Jake's other children arrive, and they start killing that annoying kid. Why did you tell our sister that? When Jake finds out, he starts berating his own son. Why did you kill him? He is the son of the local leader. Go apologize to him. When he goes and apologizes, the leader's son was still angry, and he wanted to betray him. He wanted revenge. He says, I will take you to a good place. He takes him into deep water, where a dangerous monster lived. She goes there and leaves him alone, and from there it returns, and a fast monster comes out of the water and attacks him. Because of this, it starts to heat up. and the monster keeps attacking him and trying to eat him. Both are in front of each other. That's when the biggest monster comes in, which puts the little monster in its mouth and hits a rock hard and kill him there. Meanwhile, Jake's son can't breathe in the water, and it stops. As soon as he opens his eyes, he sees that the biggest water monster has saved his life and lies on it. This boy can see that the monster is also very injured, so he pulls some weapons out of his body and gives him a break, which makes them friends, and the monster leaves this boy with his family. When the leader of the Green Tribe finds out that his own son deliberately let our guest die near the monster, he begins to punish him. But Jake's son says it's not your son's fault. It was my idea to go into deep water. I just said we'd go there. When the leader's son sees this, he is ashamed that he saved me. Not that I did wrong. I wanted to kill him. Seeing this, he now becomes a good friend of his heart. Jake's son tells everyone that the big monster saved my life, and all his friends start making fun of him, and no one believes him. The next day he goes to the same big monster again, and he goes and enjoys a lot. They both play together a lot. The colonel was still looking for Jake. That's when he gets the information. Where can Jake and his family go? However, there was no exact information yet. That's why he had to look for another one. The colonel also took control of some of the flying creatures there. Just like the local people use those creatures there. They all go to find Jake, and they arrive at the island, where people say we've never seen it. Whose picture are you showing us? The colonel thinks it's all a lie, so he kills the creatures of these people. The colonel's son explains to him that people don't know anything. They only catch fish. Leave them alone. They don't know anything. The colonel also agrees with his son, but the cruel man still goes there. They set fire and burn the place where they live. In this way he goes to other places, and he starts killing a lot of innocent people. He asks a lot of questions, but at this point, she doesn't know where Jake has gone. Likewise, all these people see a water creature. He attacks him with a chain made of iron and some small rockets. In addition, she also attacks him with an ultrasonic gun. This makes the monster unable to attack humans, and people can catch it very easily. The poor monster hovers with his little child, which never hurt people, but he was in pain, and in the end he is killed there. His little child wanders around calling out to him, and people clapped happily with great shame that he succeeded in his mission. When the colonel's son sees all this, he is very hurt, because he was worried about all these animals, and he did not tolerate this coming cruelty at all. The people catch the creature and take it with them. They go into his mouth and drill a hole in the top of his mouth with a drill, from which a yellow liquid comes out, which is such water that whoever drinks it will age very slowly. This means that he will have many years to live, and he won't die soon. And the price of this liquid is also in millions of dollars, which is going to sell in the market and make a lot of money. The next day, the captives see a dying monster, and then they start saying bad things to Jake. That people came here because of you, and now they are killing our creatures, and so will we soon. So what happened happened. The leader of the Green Navy says we will compete with the humans. After a while, Jake's son again goes to meet the biggest monster, and he sees that there is a device like an anchor on it. Because of that, the device stopped the monster there, and he couldn't move from there, because humans intend to kill other monsters to get this liquid. And this time it's Jake's son's big monster turn, which is also a very large size, which can also leak a lot of liquid. That is why people are now trying to kill this monster. The son and the others are also with him, while people are moving in this direction. The colonel also sees these children from afar. Jake and the leader discover that their children are in danger, and they take their weapons and go to save them. Children remove the device from the big monster with great difficulty. Because of this, the monster flies forward and leaves, and finally his life is saved. But people still go after kids and shootings. This is where the leader's daughter is to die. So Jake's son holds her hand and turns to him, saving her life. But in a little while he puts a big net on the children and catches them, and he brings them to his ship. Children's parents also come here for a while. That means Jake will stop there and see that his children will be tied up by the colonel in front of the ship. The colonel says that if you want to save the children's lives, then you will come to the ship yourself. So Jake decides to go it alone for the betterment of everyone. Therefore Jake's son's best creature friend. Suddenly he emerges from the water and reaches their boat. And hands and sticks, he starts killing people standing there, and everything is destroyed. When Jake and his people see this, they get a chance too, that they attack people, and all those people start heading towards the ship. There is a lot of fighting going on between humans and all these new humans. Many people are also killed, and some new people too. And the water creature jumped from a small boat of people. He kills them by pressing them with an iron rope. Jake also comes to the kids when he competes with people and release them from there. Some children also find their adopted human brother and run away from there and save their lives. But during that time, Jake's son is killed, and his mother can't control her heart after seeing all this, and she starts screaming and crying. Jake's 2 children are once again caught by the colonel, and these people are waiting for Jake to come save them. And when we see this moment, we kill him. Jake comes in there very quietly and makes an explosion, because of which there is fire everywhere. Many people are also killed. His wife also kills a lot of people forever with her arrow, and it kills a person by showing angry eyes, because he just lost his son. There was pain in his eyes. Seeing an opportunity, the colonel puts a knife to Jake's daughter's neck, and he tells them to put down their weapons. But during that time, Jake's wife comes there, and he puts the knife to the colonel's son's neck. When the colonel sees this, he has to leave his daughter. Now finally there is a personal fight between the colonel and Jake. After much trouble, Jake kills the colonel by strangling his throat. And finally, this cruel colonel begins to drown. But the colonel's son saves him from drowning and brings him to the water, because the colonel saved his life when Jake's wife put a knife on him. When the colonel says, "Son, come with me," then she gets angry with him and goes to the family. Jake, that is. And seeing this, Jake's family is also very happy, and she loves him as before. And then Jake buries his dead son in the water, and at that time he remembered everything old. That son of mine who is dead today, how I held him when he was born, and today I am also burying it with my own hands. And here the story recap of this movie ends.